either. So first 6 bans going to be removed here. Varus, TF, Vi, Azir, Xin, and Ashe. So not a lot of proactive junglers still on the board here. I would imagine Weibo might actually look to just snag up the bot lane first thing rather than focusing on that top side, which we have been doing in both games 1 and 2.
There's a lot of power picks I still think that are available as a first pick for Weibo, and they're going to go with the Karma. So give some more prio to that bot lane 2v2. Karma is incredible when paired up alongside the right 80s carry to just keep pressure in the bot lane.
And Lucian lock-in here could be paired up with a Braum, could also be paired up with Emilio. I don't feel super confident about Emilio this early on. There isn't a ton of hard CC showing from the side of Weibo Gaming, so I think the Emilio would be really preemptive. Maybe they just pivot instead and go for another lane, but they're gonna just insta-lock the Emilio. There's no hard CC really showing from Weibo. It's a good, decent counter to the Karma in the lane, but I do worry about the grand scheme of this champion working out if Weibo can find ways to circumvent or get around that Breath of Life.
The combos with the Karma are plenty, but the Jin is a special one. I know one of my favorites, but just very, very heavily pushing bot lane and going to be using that range over the Lucian to great success as well. But that Lucian Melio combo, it scares me, man. Once you get a couple items, that combo gets so disgusting. And we'll get the Cassio coming through for Xiaohu, and that's going to be yet another one for him. So it'll be a second Cassio game of this split.
And now, I mean, we've seen no Anivia games from Karis this split so far, but I actually wouldn't hate an Anivia here. It's decent into the Cassio, but instead they're just going to lock in the Jace. So likely going to give this over to Cube, and this is going to be a fun little test for him. I mean, this is a tank player through and through. Everyone associates the Scion, the Cassante, even the Yorick on his side lane pushing. Like, this has been Cube's identity for even just longer than just this year, frankly, Mazel. So to see him on the Jace is actually pretty exciting. I do want to open up the floor to this maybe being a Jace mid. That is possible, but I would lean more on it being unlikely.
Whatever Monki and Karis want, give them that. That's what I say WE's forethought is. Whatever they want. In the second phase, though, we do get some of the kind of side laning focus as well, some of the roaming focus in the York ban by WE, but as well as that LeBlanc ban on the side of Weibo.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we'll pivot at all to any jungle focus. We did see the 2 remaining prio picks in the jungle kind of taken away with the Xin and the Vi no longer available. And Bessa as well is a pseudo jungle ban if we want to see Jiejie maybe get a little bit spicy with it. So that also won't be available. I think that Jiejie's options are significantly limited here. I mean, was on board with something like a Skarner, but then you see something like the Melio and you just hard nope out of that. I think that you are really going to be pressed for hard CC junglers at this point in time. So like Nefiri is up, but like I feel that comes with a lot of inherent risk. Just Melio is good against that too, with the super mega fire kick being able to kind of knock Nefiri to the wayside the moment they go for that ultimate in. So significantly pinched on that point, but WE still have plenty of mids they can go for. We did talk about the Anivia. The Victor, though, being hovered. Basically, anything that outranges the Cassio, I'm on board with.
It's going to be the Mel, so maybe not the option I was thinking of immediately, but still some space provided there and some carry potential coming out of Karis.
Yeah, and does kind of sync up nicely with the Jace. You've got a lot of poke as well, so there is that option to just kind of outrange Weibo at the current moment, who are pretty short-ranged, minus like the Jin Current Call and the Deadly Flourish, which you're not looking at to be like big damage tools by themselves. So Weibo now, I feel like this is probably the only champion you can go for. Like Trundle is something that Jiejie likes, and the Vayne lock-in here, double marksman. So that is going to be going up against the Jace. That's interesting. Usually Vayne is good into champions that aren't ranged. So it's going to be a ranged on ranged matchup here. And oh, Monki, don't Don't threaten me with a good time with this Graves hover, my friend.
Dude, I just feel like the Trundle is such a... I mean, I know the choices are getting fewer and farther between, but Trundle is such a weird pick here with the setup that Weibo having. They really have no engage. Like, literally no engage except running at people. The Neferi going to be locked in, so Monki taking the reins yet again for WE.
And WE really have no engage either. I mean, they've got, like, the ability to look for
run at
picks.
each
Like,
other.
What are you gonna ult as Neferi to start up a fight? Like, that is not a thing. So very little CC on the side of Team WE, if I'm being completely honest with myself. You've got like a root from Mel, a tiny knockback from Jace, and a tiny knockback from Melio. That's it. So you quite literally...
It's such a weird draft.
These are two drafts that are just... This is Call of Duty Black... Like, this is Deathmatch. This is Team Deathmatch. This is not League of Legends.
We just run at people and see what happens.
You see them, you shoot them, you kill them, and you hope for the best. So early game is really what I'm looking at for here. If you are accelerated in this match, it means more damage. And the grade as... We did it! Oh my god, we made it.
We did it! I hope the crowd is still alive. Game 3, WE Weibo, starting now. Look at those passionate WE fans.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Quax?
Well, forget what I was saying. I have to talk about the Jiejie from WE. We were disappointed in game number 1. We said it was going to ramp up, it was going to rev, it was going to scale. A lot louder than it was at game number 1. So credit to the WE fans, as we are seeing already some very cheeky jungle initiative being brought here. Both junglers invading each other's red sides, but both teams know that the junglers are invading their red sides. So that information, I'm wondering if we'll see any early crazy ganks come out here for either of them.
We're going to see Karma and Jin assume pushing priority, and that's probably not going to go away until somebody else has a hand in the lane itself. And that's going to feel tough for About and Erha, who've been a pretty big focus throughout a lot of WE's games, but maybe not necessarily today, as it's been mostly about that mid jungle that we talked so much about. And it looks like we're actually going to get full invade clears as well, so just a little bit of vertical jungling going on.
I actually really favor this for Team WE. I think that Melio is there. It makes it very easy for Team WE's bot lane to play safe. Obviously, that's not what a champion like Lucian wants, but it is there. Meanwhile, Zika has to do this.
He had to know something was coming for him. The exhaust flash going to be burned from him. He should be okay. Gonna get some decent damage back, though, as he's trying to take a good trade into Cube. Cube's electrocute going to do a decent amount. Now Monkey's looking for a possible flash play. He goes for it. The Darkened Daggers sink their teeth, and first blood goes to Monki.
And that's exactly why we vertical jungle, kids. I mean, this matchup in top lane is so volatile. Monki going for those Raptors, manages to get the first blood, and Zika's going to come back to lane. Look at his wave state. I mean, the wave is pushing into the Tower of Cube. There's no summoners available for the Vayne. This is a horrible start for Zika. And worse yet, Mazel, worse yet, Monkey's going to stay on the top side. He might legitimately look for a regank, but Jiejie is in the area to try and contest for this top side crap.
Jiejie didn't get his blue buff here, interestingly enough, trying to fight for the double scuttle potentially. Interesting choices being made by Jiejie on the Trundle, and now he'll go back down to bot side and get that scuttle crab.
It does do a lot, and also just making sure that Zika is covered. I think that the timing for Monki to look for a redeploy gank onto the top side was if he managed to get that top side crab. So him not getting that, I think now he's going to be forced to path down bot a little bit. Dang, falling very low.
I hit a Mantra Q back, but he is within one-shot range. Zelk's going to have to step up to kind of keep him safe here. Both junglers going to meet up, and still the blue buff not taken by Jiejie. He is just making sure that Monki can't take any more from his side of the jungle. That's the kind of play I'd love to see from Jiejie. Yes, we had invades last time, but he is actually going and being a detriment to how Monki wants to play the game, and that's how you keep pressure on.
Yeah, the CS discrepancy between the two junglers is already starting to be pretty noticeable here. Monki obviously is going to be able to circumvent the gold difference between the two because of that first blood that he got. He's going to back now and actually get the Dirk. So big power spike for the Nefiri to be just extra combative in this early game. But yeah, like you said, Jiejie with some really intelligent pathing, just covering his own jungle, will allow him to be ending on this top side, but he's not actually going to look for a gank to try and punish Cube without that flash. He is instead going to go for a reset on his own, just trying to match the tempo of this Nefiri. And again, this is what we talked about. Both junglers are on a timer to really make stuff happen like in the first 10 to 15 minutes here. So that's what matters, and having that tempo advantage is going to be super important.
Proactivity is going to be the name of the game as well. Dragon number 1 is coming up onto the table. See if any presence down here is going to lead to getting that a little earlier. Some push going on to Elk here as Monki moves into the enemy jungle. The Hank has him surrounded here, though. Erha is going to be here to help him out. Throw down the campfire if he needs to. The Pillar of Filth is going to be used. Some Dark and Dagger is going to connect as well on the back end, but just some tradesies happening in the bot side. Nothing else to see here. And the Dragon still going to be up, as I do see him going to the back of the pit just to jump over. And no early objective focus thus far.
All right, Mazel. We're calling it Pillar of Filth. That's on status right there as... Ooh, Jiejie.
They are going to actually get the flash out. So that could be returned to about... Maybe down that one. Jiejie gonna go for the Dragon. So take this early prowess that the Trundle has in terms of fighting strength and take an early Dragon here.
There's not even really much for Monki to get on the opposite side. He might get the third respawn of these Raptors, but compared to the Dragon take, I feel like this is definitely winning for Weibo. Jiejie finally managing to make something of his early game so far in this series, and Monki, without that level 6, I don't think is really able to look for a dive onto the Vayne. Isn't going to risk it. Instead returns to his own camps and doesn't actually end up getting the respawns here. The Hank is there to cover. So good Dragon take there from Jiejie. Not much more to say about it, and still maintaining a pretty sizable camp lead, about 3 camps up over the Nefiri so far.
Yeah. That's going to feel really good for a guy that we really wanted to see step up in this series as a whole. And especially when you have a new support. We've seen how important the linkage is between supports and jungle now. But you really need Jiejie to be the one to lean on here, because he is the one with all the experience. Now, we won't have an Infernal Soul this time. So that's good news, I feel like, at least for WE, if they are going to try to counteract some of the scaling. Or stacking, at least, of the Dragons that Weibo is going to be looking for. But now we're going to be looking up towards topside, Quax, as 45 seconds for those grubs. And both junglers at least going to be over in that direction. I don't know, though. I feel like that early skirmishing power that Jiejie has might just lean their favor.
He has to really make his impact known, but he's going to try on this top side. You can see that he is potentially looking for a lane gank onto Cube, but it is important to remember the flash is back up for the Jace. So if they can maybe get like a Pillar Condemn combo, that would be really sick. But I do think that the way this wave is positioned, this Jace should be fine.
I love this, though. A little bit of cheeky play coming out from Jiejie.
Should be fine.
He's gonna hold around. Again, if Zika gets 1 kill, that makes a world of difference. He's going to walk straight onto him. The exhaust comes through, the insta-flash, but he's going to go back in now as well. Cube tries to go back for the trade, but just gets taken down, and Zika is on the board.
And then immediately, Jiejie pings to go to the grubs here. Zika has prio and is still available on the map, so it's a numbers advantage for Weibo if there is a fight in the river. Monki is going to spot these out, but I don't really think there's much he can do, Mazel.
I really don't think so either. He's going to try to butt his nose in here, sniffing around like the hound he is. I actually try to trade one of these here, as he will get the 1. Smite is coming back up for Jiejie. Xiaohu moving over. Karis is here too, but he's going to get slowed down. Meanwhile, bot side, the Hank, he's dead to about the 2v2, going terribly for Weibo, as they won't be able to get Elk in the end. One more shot, but it's the barrier that saves him. Now it's the curtain call. Erha should be able to just block all this. Just stand still. Don't worry. It's a little bit of anxiety induced, but it is not going to be enough. He's going to get the 4th shot in, and slowly but surely things are devolving into chaos as we go topside again. It's going to be Zika being oppressed under turret, the dive coming through, but it's Monki displaying a little bit of talent there, but Cube is not going to go down. He's down 30 HP and he's still alive.
I counted 24, I'm pretty sure. Cube manages to barely live from that dive, and I mean, yeah, first let's get a replay on this bot side play because I want to see how the Hank actually ended up this way. He had actually burned Flash. So what happened here? So he just gets culling about, is there to follow up, and just a bit of a misposition from the Karma leads to the Hank's demise, and about going to get his first kill of the game. You can see that he's also very close to completing his first item. So I believe Essence Reaver is going to be in order here. So big item spike for the Lucian. This is a really big moment for him to pop off and show that early game presence of the champion.
And see if they want to push and move that anywhere or utilize that strength, especially for that next dragon that's going to be coming up in about a minute. As WE want to try to stop some of that stacking from Weibo. Jiejie going for a bit of an angle here on top side. Will not be spotted out by vision just yet.
Oh, is he get a gamer? Oh my!
That's a gamer flash right there. Zika dodging away is going to get the condemn through. Not into the wall, but it will be enough to get the kill. A lot of focus towards top side so far from both junglers.
Yup, exactly where we were expecting it to be, but now we have to kind of veer our eyes toward the bot side. Mazel dragging up in about 30 seconds. Weibo got the first one, but Monki has already kind of planted himself on all fours, literally, around this side of the map. Is going to steal away this blue buff, plant down some vision around this area on the map as well. So it might be difficult for Weibo to approach this river. Monki's really greeting for these camps, though, and Xiaohu is moving.
I wonder if he's going to make it there in time. Okay, so the back is going to be initiated. All right. Ships in the night. Monki decides to stick around, actually. Wonder what he wants to go for. Just going to clear some of the vision right now in front of the dragon pit. Just want to make sure Jiejie can't just do this for free. Elk has the curtain call. Jiejie going to be shown in the bot side. Going to be a 3v3 setup with a little bit of a move, turning into a 4v3 in favor of WE for the moment.
Erha is also really low. He's about half HP. Does have the flash to get to safety, but is going to be forced to recall. So WE loosening their grip on this river a bit, and now Karis might be in trouble because of that.
He's going to be forced to flash the miasma, though. He can't flash over. He's going to get touched by He turned at the last second into it and just gets stunned to stone. Elk's going to get the kill.
That is so unfortunate for Karis. I mean, he was miasma, really good placement from Xiaohu, and then the pillar doesn't let him leave. He gets stunned, like you said, from the petrifying gaze. There's nothing he can do. He gets taken down, dragging along with it. Weibo off to a 2 Drake lead, and this is probably the cleanest early game we've seen from them so far this series, Mazel.
Xiaohu got the angle here. I love the...
Oh, this is pain. This is physical pain looking at that.
The one spot that he had to try to flash over the wall gets blocked by the pillar. Really nicely used utility there by Jiejie on his first Trundle of the split here. Obviously, Trundle enjoyer nonetheless, but so far, so good. Dead even game. The first time it's been a dead even game this early into the game so far this series as well.
For sure. And I mean, for Team WE, I feel like it's a little bit of a compliment simply because you find them down 2 dragons, and usually they're down at about 1,000 gold at this point in the game. So to see the gold actually even, I know we've been singing the praises of this team, but still, you have to remember they are a 1-9 series score. So the average WE experience, I think, is worse than this at around 14 minutes. But for Weibo, this is the best they've looked in 13 and a half minutes. So really big shout out to Jiejie in particular on this Trundle. Even though he doesn't have a single kill, he's put in action where it needs to be, as culling thrown out there by about, but no kill to be had. Just trying to lay down this pressure and utilize that Essence Reaver advantage.
I like that they keep looking for picks down there as well. If you can catch the combo out can be very tough. Erha going to be a wonderful teammate. Block the deadly flourish from stopping the back, at least onto about. We did see red buff picked up by Zika, by the way, up towards top side. So see if that has anything to do with the 1v1. Jiejie is in a 1v2 right now and feeling okay because of that extra movement speed he gets. And was able to at least have a little bit of influence on the bot side play.
He's also going to cross over mid there, just looking for something onto Karis. Yeah, checking in back on that top side. Both top laners actually hitting their one-item spikes. Cube with the new and improved Cyclo Sword that now procs the energized on ability. So those empowered shock blasts are really going to start hitting. And this is something that we unfortunately really weren't able to cover in the draft, but I feel like the poke element of these soul laners on Team WE is maybe something that really gives them an advantage. We talk about the lack of tanks for both of these teams, and so if you can have like a Hextech Soul as Team WE plus the poke you have with Mel and Jace, that is absolutely huge. But so far they don't have any dragons, so the Hextech Soul is kind of a pipe dream at the current moment, as Weibo are going to continue their supremacy of the neutrals and look onto the Herald.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this game is going to be like one of those scenes from Star Wars, like a battlefield where there's just lasers going left and right. Like that's just gonna be this game, because nobody's engaging, everybody's just shooting stuff at people, and I think that's gonna be important to keep an eye on.
And Karis is the only one with a lightsaber. He's the only guy that can deflect those laser blasts.
There's no laser blast coming his way. There's just some cold hard arrows. And nice play, the bait of a century from Karis.
It is going to be responded to, though. Weibo say, all right, you've got both your soul laners on the bot side. Well, we've got a Herald. We're going to get the first turret of the game. It's going to be likely traded back here by WE. So, yeah, a little bit of gold going into this Mel and this Jace on top of the kill they got to Zika. But I think Weibo, with a very good respond here, they're going to actually get 2 turrets instead of just the 1.
Ooh,
nope.
I don't know if they
Never mind. Karis stops it.
Or there. He's going to chomp it down. Really nicely used from Jiejie. Does end up getting that tier 2. Some plates going over to Cube on the bot side as a return, but there's still a lot more gold going to Weibo there. Still a bit of an advantage for WE, though.
And I like this look up by Zika, right? This is a thing where if the root lands, it's really over for Karis. He even still lands the root, but Zika's got the flash, uses it to close the gap, but then Cube, who had teleported down to the bot side, makes the difference. So in the 1v2, Zika just cannot stand up for himself. Still, though, I think the response play from Weibo was really good, as now about 10 seconds until the dragon comes up, WE have control over mid and got that turret on bot side, so they will be first to the river. And you look at Xiaohu, he's away from the team, does have the teleport, but Weibo might not be able to continue their supremacy over the Drakes if they can't claw their way back.
Oh, Hank almost going down there. That's a troubling position to be in, as WE are going to stop the dragon stacking of Weibo and be able to take their first dragon of the game, the first dragon of the Hextech Soul as well.
Yup, really big for WE, who have that extra little bit of poke in them as well.
That deadly flourish connects. That might be a little bit of a different story. Monki forced out of the fight. It's going to be the flash play with the miasma from Xiaohu. Still really nice healing coming through, and the forward shot not enough. Erha used a beautiful breath of life to give a little bit more life to WE on the back end of that play.
Really good disengage there from Team WE. Now they're going to look to regain control a little bit of mid lane. Karis was there to clear out the wave, and now Jiejie is isolated.
Gonna use the pillar. He's just fine. Has Zika right there behind him too. A little bit scary of a moment. Both junglers just outright showing on lanes as well, but there is nothing to fight for. No big objectives as of recency, so just means time will go on. And that's where we can take a look at the scaling as well, because that's something we always need to talk about, but especially 18.5 minutes in, the projection is really important. We'll talk about that after we see this replay.
Oh, so Karis
actually killed him.
Yeah, he actually did manage to get a kill onto Elk. Flashed for it as well, so there was a casualty in that fight. Completely missed it myself, by the way, so I am guilty of that. But just the second one going over to the Mel with a bit of an interesting build. Seraph's first for Karis. Does get the Rocket Belt. Okay. But I cannot remember the last time I saw a Seraph's rush on Mel. That's not normal, is it?
Well, we'll see if it becomes normalized. The belt, though, is important because you can just make that gap close to get the root down to be so tough to play into. And the consistent damage, at least, is going to be coming from two central sources in Zika and Xiaohu on the other side. So trying to figure out how to lock those two down and take them out of the fight will be of utmost importance for Karis, who had a pretty good series and still is on the verge of it, obviously.
Yep.
Let's see if he can kind of close this one out, as is the holistic idea of WE, because it would be incredible to see them go from 0 series wins to 2 series wins in a row, and it would also bring Weibo down to 3 losses in a row.
And Weibo would have a really tight timeline to turn around their performances if they ended up going down, as like we've been kind of alluding to, playoffs are right around the corner, and I think Weibo, relative to last split, they had a really good performance, and now we see Jiejie isolated from his team.
From Monki. Doesn't have Zika there with him. It's a 1v1, a little bit split. TP got utilized by Karis, and both teams just back away from the fight.
Yeah, ow. Monki definitely did not want to continue scuffling with Jiejie there. He uses the subjugate, bites him once, and that's half HP gone from the Nefiri.
Big catch out from Karis, though. And get some damage onto Xiaohu. Curtain Call gets used, and a little half health onto About. Baron is up on the table here, but neither team really in a position to be pushing that one or even be forcing that one as of now. Still about a minute and a half till that next dragon as well. Could be soul point for Weibo. Really nice shield from the Hank there to block all that damage onto Elk.
Yeah, Cube is probably wishing for a Serpent's Fang right about now, as I would imagine at some point we'll probably see. We've got 2 lethality users on Team WE. There's no way we don't see a Serpent's Fang come out from either of them if given the gold to actually purchase those. But for now, yeah, the Karma Shields are going to be really instrumental in these future fights, which I imagine we'll probably get one. Dragon coming up in a little over a minute now. And Weibo, even though they weren't able to get the most recent dragon, they still are at a position where they get this one, they get soul point, and that just really puts a timer on Team WE to make plays. And I think that Team WE have done such a good job this series at setting the pace for themselves, not playing on Weibo's timers and allowing them to dictate the control of the tempo in this game. So if Weibo were able to get soul point here, they would kind of lose a little bit of that control that they have historically held on to throughout this best of 3.
Indeed, they would. Man, like these 3 item spikes are right around the corner, and Lucian gets so strong at 2 items, but 3 items as well. Gonna be feeling really good, and it's a duo that we were kind of questioning coming into this one. Like, how do you stick that damage? How do you find the range differential? But once you get to these item precipices, like, you can do these dash plays and burst somebody down 100-0 once you get the damage.
All right, Dragon is spawned. You can see that Jiejie is in the river along with Xiaohu, so Weibo are the first ones here. It's really difficult to regain control against these 2 champions. Oh my Monkey's just dead.
Monkey's gone. You know, you almost missed that play if you didn't blink.
Yep.
As that's a tough one. That's ahead of the soul point. They get it for free skis, and that's a big pick on a Monkey.
It absolutely is. Replay here, and yeah, I mean, this is a miasma and a pillar. Like, you're not going anywhere against these 2. Just gets blown up without really anything to say about it. And I think that this highlights the importance of WE. Again, it's been a pretty common theme over the course of this best of 3, but WE being first to the objective is a must in this game, because regaining control of the river from a Cassiopeia who, you know, has the miasma and has the ability to completely cut you off from any mobility in your kits, plus the pillar, which can totally divide you. Like, these are 2 tools that make it very difficult to, especially in tight spaces, regain control of the map. And
giving some respect back over to Jiejie and Xiaohu. Being able to have these kinds of moments, being able to use this space and the know-how to lock down some of these mobile members as well. Felk's going to need to be shielded to run away from a bout. Who is on that third item now? Has that Lord Doms. CC chain coming through. Golden Eclipse will not be used just yet. Karis just trying to poke down as much as possible. Xiaohu going to get caught on the entrance on the side. Was potentially looking for a flank play.
We really just want to knock down this turret and are trying to leverage their range. But Jiejie.
Not again. Okay, he's going to be fine now. Dancing Grenade. Gonna wreck his little doggies. And Monki will be forced to walk away from the fight, giving Weibo all kinds of control in the mid lane, potentially trying to siege down this outer turret.
Yeah, they can siege down the turret in mid, but they can also siege down the turret in bot. You can see that Zika is being deployed there as well, and because WE really want to hold on to control of that part of the map, Zika may be able to just finish off what remains of that bot lane turret, but Cube is also there to respond, so maybe we see a scuffle between them. I do also want to highlight how in the draft we said there was a lack of frontline from both teams, and I think Weibo have now made that statement pretty untrue. Jiejie with the Dead Man's Plate plus the Trinity Force HP, like he is actually pretty tanky, so Weibo having the advantage of the frontline, even the Cassiopeia, right, still has a lot of health with her as well. So Weibo just have more of a front line. They just have more durability, and I think that Jiejie has really stepped up to the plate like we said was required of him in this game. Yeah. And that has been kind of the big tell.
And that's where we can talk a little bit about, you know, we're getting closer and closer to all pros here for LPL English and obviously the official side of things. But Jiejie is definitely in the consideration with his kind of solo plays. If you want to vote, make sure you go get that QR code going for yourself. But it's been some fluctuations, but with Weibo as a whole. But if there's a piece that I would continue to build around and work around, it has been Jiejie.
Yeah. Maybe looking for
almost
something.
caster curse.
Yeah, almost. Would have been really funny.
But we got away with
Jiejie,
it.
I think it's funny too, because even in their losses, like I don't think that Jiejie's performance is like particularly egregious. He's not like feeding in any of the in a lot of the losses that we see from Weibo. It's just his lack of proactivity that is highlighted, right? The fact that he isn't actively making the game harder, he's just not doing anything to make the game easier for his team is kind of the biggest conceit of his gameplay in the losses that Weibo have had. But in the wins, he's usually the main driving force. So credit over to him for that. You can see 10.9 almost, or 10.9 exactly, actually, KDA on Weibo wins. So when they're winning, this guy knows how to pop off.
Yeah, and that's an important factor here. But another important factor is the next dragon coming up. About a minute time, about 50 seconds now. It is Soul on a Hex Soul for Weibo Gaming. So we got to come up with a game plan for WE to approach this fight and stop them in their tracks. Item completions are not there just yet for Karis.
Yeah, Karis isn't on the break point he would like to be, but this feels like, again, WE are forced to play on Weibo's time. Weibo Gaming got the soul point, and now WE are going to be forced to react even when they don't have the most optimal conditions. As Xiaohu is on the side, we really got to keep our eyes on this Cassiopeia and this Trundle. They have been the main driving forces of this team so far.
Looking like a full-on 5-on-5. You're going to have the double marksman comp here that we talked about from the draft. The power that is in weight with the damage that they have. You got to be wary of the poke that we set up for WE. They're going to find some of that poke now. The culling is going to be used. They're trying to fight for this river push. Try to get down into the pit here because it is do or die for the soul, at least on this one. They want to try to fight it. It's going to be a little bit half health members of Weibo moving over to take this fight. Look at Zika. He's going for a flank on the Vayne. I don't know if that's going to be what the doctor ordered, but it's going to be Xiaohu moving forward. Getting a big petrifying gaze, but it didn't get the stun on anybody. Now Zika has been seen on the backside of the fight. health bar still blinking a little bit for Weibo. WE should feel confident to move forward here. It's going to be everything used on the Zika, though. He should have known he was going to get caught. He goes into the pit. It's the Dragon Soul secured by Weibo. As Jiejie is able to CC that one away. It's going to be the catch out, though. They can't get him. The Golden Eclipse comes down from the sky, and Karis gets the kill. Now Monki is looking for more. Monki is looking for the wraparound. Xiaohu not going to be able to get away.
Alone.
Miasma is going to slow them down. He gets the speed up, too, because now Cassiopeia can get boots, by the way, and being able to get out of that one is huge for Weibo. They have the soul, they got the trade, and now they're in a beautiful position to push this one forward.
And you just have to feel like WE are kicking themselves for that one, right? Monki makes the crucial decision to turn onto Zika instead of sticking around for the Dragon, so he understands and basically concedes the soul in an effort to try and get this pick and turn it into a reset where Team WE can then look to extend the fight and maybe go for Baron, but it goes awry. Zika uses the exhaust. He's able to get out with the flash over the wall. Soul is secured for Weibo. They do lose one member, but that is a small price to pay for a Dragon Soul.
Yeah, and it wasn't even Zika. It was the Hank, which you'll take. I can't believe Zika survived in that whole thing. And the Hex Soul on this kind of comp is going to be so difficult to deal with now, too. It's going to be providing so much extra slowing, so much extra damage. And the lead still dead even, but a bigger timer now put onto the map with the Elder Dragon in 4.5 minutes.
I mean, this is absolutely absurd, by the way. 30 minutes in, like, dead even gold. We've barely moved the pendulum, no matter who wins a fight or who gets an objective. Like, to its credit, this has been, like, probably, I think, the slowest game of this series so far, which... we said this was either going to be the most bloody or like the slowest. There's not going to be an in-between. So we were technically right, Mazel.
True. And we had like a 25-minute pause. So
yeah,
add that onto the game timer. We're already the longest game of the split. That being said, though, still a lot of tension in this one. Weibo trying to recoup some of their losses over the last couple series here. Looking pretty good in this one as they're going to start the Baron up. WE, they have a little bit of an idea, but they don't really know how to enter the fight. They're just going to go full in on Elk. Elk is the target, but
Elk is isolated!
The Baron is going to be the target now, though. The Hank now focused. The reset's starting to come through for Monki. The Baron has already gone down, though. Monki wants to find another angle. It's a double kill for the star jungler of WE. It's going to be about stepping forward, trying to take down Jiejie. One more dash, and he gets it. The barrier comes through. WE strike back.
Yup, crucial fight win there for WE, and again, for the third game in a row, Mazel. Monki finds Elk, isolated from the team, and this time, it gives him the resets. WE get the chase down. They don't get the Baron, but only 2 members of Weibo survive with that buff, and that is enough for WE to at least get the mid-outer, but they want to look for more.
They do, and they have a massive lead here. Petrifying Gaze comes through, tries to get a big pick, but they don't find what they're looking for. On the back end, WB is just going to escort themselves to an exit. And what a strike of the moment for WE. 3,000 gold up now. They lost the soul, but it doesn't matter. The pick is the important part. And Monki continues to find his target.
Really bold recall timers there from WE. Only about is able to complete his. So WE staying on the map a little bit more, and Weibo, even though they lost 3 members, they still have the Baron buff, right? So they still have the wave in an advantageous position, even when we were ending live and now going into this replay. And yeah, I mean, Elk just has the flash. Maybe it could have gone over.
Elk, TBH, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, a little bit. Was separated from the team, gets found. Monki just keeps finding these angles. Like, you can criticize Elk, but you can also praise Monki. And I am choosing to do the latter because he found that moment. He's been doing this all series long. And now Weibo have about a minute left on the Baron with their 2 remaining members. This could be crucial for setting up around the Elder in a little over a minute and a half.
The execution is important, though, for Weibo because they are so squishy. It's like a double-edged sword here for them. They find a big pick out. They can instantly get killed, but they can also get dashed very, very quickly. We're on 4 to 5 item builds here for everyone. And things are going to start getting a little bit more spicy. Is this where you expected us to be 34 minutes in with these kinds of comps, the no engage comps that we were getting drafted for?
I mean, it's the slowest game of the series, and probably because nobody can start up a damn fight, Mazel. There is, like, no guarantee that if you go in and you're the guy starting up these engages that you're getting out whatsoever. So no one really wants to run that risk, and I feel like that risk is going to continue to compound and increase, because the longer we go into this game, the longer the death timers are, the more consequential dying actually is. And so now we're gonna go into a team fight. The Elder is up in 30 seconds, about a split from the rest of the team, but should be able to easily group up with them. This is going to be the thing that determines the match.
You can see the hunger in WE, trying to pick up that other win, trying to continue this spree that they're going on at the latter half of the season. You can feel that they're trying to keep control of the pit here. Xiaohu will be spotted out. He could just get bursted down. Petrifying Gaze going in. Breath of Life was a little early. Breath of Life was a little bit early, and now that means that this fight is holistically in Weibo's favor. One ability goes a bit different, and it's WE that are headed for the hills and headed for the graveyard.
Yup, really good fight there from the Cassiopeia. Xiaohu, not only does he get the Petrifying Gaze, but he gets the Zhonya's. He denies the counter engage from Team WE. All members of Team WE are down. It is a clean ace for Weibo. There's a massive wave in top, and they should be able to end this series with 20-second death timers, Mazel.
The Hanks even get it in the family picture. It's been a little bit of a carousel for the support role for Weibo, but they may have found their next piece. But it's Xiaohu who has come alive on the Casio. 2-1 Weibo.
Xiaohu and Jiejie, we questioned them in games 1 and games 2 a little bit, Mazel. But game number 3, they make it happen. Really solid Trundle performance, really solid Cassiopeia performance, and it all came to a head in that last fight. A crucial Petrifying Gaze to find about, turn that play around, and Weibo get their series win.
About thought he had him stuck in there with him. It was truly the other way around. And the Hank gets his first LPL win. A little bit of a quiet one for him for sure.
Yeah.
But you got Daddy Xiaohu in the mid lane, making sure the car ride goes well.
Yup, I mean, him and like Jiejie was in like the passenger seat too.
Let's be real, Jiejie was driving. Xiaohu was falling asleep sometimes, but he's there in the passenger seat.
Xiaohu was in the passenger seat, and then you know how when you have to switch lanes, you have to like look over. Like Xiaohu was helping him in that regard, just like, all right, yeah, no, there's no cars on this side.
That was snacks?
Like. Yeah, that was like and then yeah, you had everyone else in the back seat like begging
comes out
for snacks, or like saying like, "Are we there yet?" Yeah.
The Petrifying Gaze was him bringing out a big old basket of sandwiches that he had pre-made, and the whole car is just elated.
Yup, exactly. So
I'm glad we could go down this rabbit hole.
Weibo Gaming being well fed, both literally, I guess, with our analogy, and metaphorically, as now they will get another series win for themselves. And I will say, game 3, I was very convinced, but games 1 and 2, a little bit shaky. I do think that the knock wave combos of game number 1, while somewhat inconsistent, were the main driving force for Weibo to win game number 1, but this is still a team that I got to keep my eye on, right? We are still in the last sunsets of the regular season, and Weibo have high expectations going into playoffs, right? Especially considering what they were able to do in split number 1 and the caliber of players that they have on their team. You want this squad to go far, given the history of this organization and given the player history that is a part of this team today. So they've still got work to do, in my opinion, but this is a step in the right direction, Lennon.
Yeah, it truly is. I know we'll be getting the stats of the game here very shortly, but if we have time before that, we'd love to bring up the standings here as well. Yes. It does mean that while we can't get to top 4 for Weibo, you're at least trying to fight yourself up into a better positioning to face an easier quote-unquote opponent from Group Nirvana in the play-ins. And that's why these series matter so much. I think WE is pretty locked now that they've lost this series into that final place. But we'll see where the others land out.
And hey, they've got a really funny game score that I don't think I can say. But on the flip side, I guess, you know, we're talking about the standings and we're talking about where these teams will end up in placements, Mazel. I do think that the overall level of these teams might not be indicative of their score lines, right? Because WE, even though they lost, have shown a lot more fire in the past 3 series than they did in the previous whatever was remaining, right? So to see them have that performance, I think even though they are the 8th place team, they are now looked at a little bit differently than they were before, as about tops the damage chart with 29.6k, but doesn't end up mattering.
If you're watching, that one goes in the gold graph segment for next week. Yeah. What is that? A 5,000 gold swing at the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. Jiejie 100%
dramatic.
KP too.
Yeah. Jiejie, I mean, Xiaohu was 100% KP in game number 1, so Jiejie is there to stand right up next to him for the game number 3 win. But yeah, kind of going back to what we were talking about a little bit with the standings, Mazel, even though these teams are like locked into their placements, that doesn't necessarily mean that you got to play like what your placement reflects, right? We can see WE turning it around a little bit. We can see that they've got some fire in them. Weibo Gaming managed to take a series win here, looked decent in game number 1 and looked pretty dang good in game number 3, if I am going to give them a lot of flowers. So this, I feel, makes it so that they are still competitive regardless of the seeding that they get. As long as everyone looks like they can do some damage in the playoffs, we're going to have a really competitive end of May / beginning of June, I believe.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Something like that.
Man, I want to see that last play. Like, again, I know we've said it before, hindsight's 2020, but if the Breath of Light actually gets the CC off, does it make a difference? Like, I'm really curious to see, and maybe we won't even get that play. We're getting a little bit closer to it, but it was such a fell swoop from Weibo Gaming after that win, after that team fight win, and it was Xiaohu that stepped into, or was getting stepped on by 5 people at least, and able to kind of turn it around.
Yeah, no, I mean, Xiaohu on the Cassiopeia was a really pleasant surprise, right? We've been kind of used to this guy in the split playing control mages that he's known for, like the Orianna, like the Rise. Those have been, I think, his 2 premier picks over the course of the split. So to see him kind of, and not necessarily abandon that play style, but go for something more aggressive. Yeah, here we go. So Breath of Life, it just wasn't enough.
It got one of them. Yeah, I think there was
another. It got one of them, but there's
CC
like it can only cleanse one thing, right? So if you throw multiple different sources of CC at them, then Breath of Life isn't going to be able to deal with all of those, and that's exactly what Weibo did.
A little deadly flourish in the end. Fitting for the moment for Weibo. We won't get to obviously see it live, but do you have any MVP / player of the series votes?
I would give it over to Jiejie, honestly. We had
player
the
of the series?
Yeah,
or a game?
Yeah. Player of the series, I think. We had the highest of expectations for this guy going into the series, and I think he met them, honestly. Like, game number 2 was like really sus from him. Game number 1, though, like the Nocturne performance combined with the Orianna was really fun to watch. And then game number 3, he had Monki's number. Like, Monki was on fire in this series, I think, from games 1 and 2, and he managed to shut him down completely. So tall task to do that, but he managed to accomplish it and managed to, in my opinion, be the leading contributor to the series victory for Weibo.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff from Weibo to keep their head in the game. Gotta say, though, there's still a whole nother best of 3 on the line. It's NIP versus AL. It should be a pretty big banger. We'll be heading off into the sunset. Meanwhile, we're going to have K-Man and Rafa come in as replacements for that second series. Quax, it was a pleasure. Shivam, thank you for pressing all the buttons behind the scenes, and we will see what happens in our next series. But for now, it's signing off with the Weibo 2-1 over WE.